I will say this, Relina is a perfect model of somebody with nothing trying to sell you nothing.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with some more Mobile Suit Gundam Wing. We just got done with Trance Death, I guess?
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a lot to talk about there. That's just the introduction of the Zero system, which...
we already were introduced to?
Well, not really. There was the aspect of them doing a little test on Hero back in the day, but they didn't introduce it as a system or what it actually does. He was just sitting there looking at targets and whatnot. This is the actual first time we've seen a character in it.
No, because remember that's the whole thing that happened with
Quattro, but that didn't show us what was
yeah.
happening. Quattro didn't experience visions of fake futures and whatnot. Quattro was just like driven to the edge. Like I said, this is the actual first time we get like things happening that don't happen, like Duo experiencing Hilda dying by him accidentally shooting the colony, which doesn't happen. You know, it's the difference between, say, Mobile Suit Gundam talking about espers all the time and then deciding new types. It's just actually new types. We figured that the Zero system is a thing. We haven't decided what it does yet. Now we've decided what it does.
I don't remember if they actually do more with the Zero system, so...
They do.
Yeah.
They do a lot. It's a lot. It is... I mean, I don't know how you don't remember.
Don't remember.
Yeah, it's a major thing. We're not done with it by a long shot. Alright, well, as we usually do, we come back with notes and a board. Let's go ahead and start with the board, where I only have a couple of things. I connected Dorothy to Hero with a white line, I marked Trant as dead, and I tied Trant to Duo with a red line. That is it.
Yeah. Trying to kill his girlfriend. Well, him too, by the way, because I doubt very much that gun was going to miss one of them at that range.
I mean, he didn't try to kill his girlfriend. Also, I wouldn't say that Hildy is his girlfriend.
Oh, well. I think they were made for a cute couple.
Would they?
They're both high-spirited, you know.
I mean, what are the couples in the show, right? We have Relina and Hero, Noin and Zach's best couple. I guess you're proposing Hildy and Duo. I know I'm forgetting somebody here.
Troll and what's her name?
Catherine. Sally Poe and Wu Fei.
I don't see that one though, mostly because of the age difference, but still.
I don't think it matters in this show. Okay, yeah. Sally Poe and Hero, man. He's a cute boy.
Really wanted. Yeah, he was like, oof.
I'm sure there's other people. I've stopped remembering them.
I don't know. I mean, what's his name? The Trace. What's his,
Oh yeah, Trace and Lady On.
Trace and Lady On, yeah.
I guess technically, Marshall Noventa and his wife were a couple.
Yeah.
And I guess that was pretty healthy too. Healthy enough that they have grandkids.
Yep. I'm willing to forgive their murderer. My guy, he's dead. I know you're a nice guy, but you know, it happens. It's war. Like, okay, Granny, thanks for not shooting me in the head with the gun that I provided to you for that very same purpose.
I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we know Wu Fei had an ex-wife only by external information. He never mentions it, other than calling his Gundam his wife's name.
As you do, I guess.
Alright, well, I guess go ahead and start us off in the notes.
I don't have many notes, but I will try. Episode 31, The Glass Kingdom. Well, I don't like these girls. The classicist bitches. Because the whole thing is Hero and Katra walking and saying, oh, is the guy at the front his servant? I'm like, clearly all these girls from all these places in the world are just like the daughters and...
No, I've got like two separate notes about the girls in the school. And yet somehow I didn't hear the line that you're referring to.
I did. I listened to it in English. I was like,
So
it's
did
like,
I.
and then
The only
Katra
way
goes like,
it's the only way to
Katra kind of
listen to the
laughs.
show,
Yeah.
except for the way that we listen to it in reaction. But that also behooves the fact that we have mostly a foreign audience.
He goes like he's hiding his smile behind his hand, right, doing the
Well,
thing.
also
But
not for nothing, Hagen is there, who is actually a servant.
yeah, true. But
I think maybe you might be misconstruing who they're talking about.
no, they were talking about
Because the two
Hero
boys are
and
actually
Katra.
supposed to be students at the school, and one of them, a 90-year-old man, I don't know how old Pagan is, I'm just throwing out that he might be 90,
Yeah,
is an actual servant who's also dressed like a butler. So
yeah. But they were not
I think
talking
what you're
about.
doing is that thing where somebody in a crowd waves in your direction, and you're like, and there's somebody behind you.
No. It was by Katra's reaction. It was clearly talking about Hero.
Again, it's not a line that I caught. I caught a different line, which I wrote a note about. It's not my first 2 or 3 notes, though, so.
Go ahead.
You know, it's funny to consider that what I'm about to say is going to be heard by YouTube long before the thing I'm talking about to references. But we've started reacting to Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam recently, and it's really shined a light on how much I actually appreciate Gundam Wing. For all the complaints I have about Wing's pacing, random storylines, and rather inept writing, I think it's still better than the first 6 episodes of Zeta that we've watched. I know everyone's motivations, and I'm at least somewhat invested in the characters. I'll take Wu Fei over Camille any day of the week.
That's saying something. That last bit is saying something.
Wu Fei has backstory, character motivation, character interaction. Like, I don't like him as a character, but as a character, I do understand him.
I mean, the opening of Wing is like, here are the people who are oppressing these people. These people reacted to it by launching this operation. These are the people who are doing the operation. And these other people want to try to stop it, right? It's like we get later on, it becomes all pseudo philosophical, but at the beginning, it's like,
well, all
pretty
Wing
straightforward.
has is the characters.
Yeah,
The
it's pretty
story, the
straightforward.
narrative is bullshit, but
Yeah.
all it has is the characters, and that's all it focuses on. Zeta's characters are just poorly, I don't know. Again, the element that I feel like it's going to have to develop into something later. It's got 50 episodes of it, so
Here's to hoping. My next note, of course. There's no battle in this kingdom yet, Relina. He's like, oh, there's no battles in the Sand Kingdom. It's like, not yet. Not quite. This is Gundam. There's gonna be a battle.
there's no war in Ba Sing Sang.
Except kind of. Except that she actually means it. Like
I couldn't
she
remember the
believes it
quote.
in.
That's why I was struggling
Yeah,
with it. What's the
there's
name
no
of the
battle.
place?
Yeah, Basing say, yeah. But
That would
was
be a thing. That would
propaganda
be a
here.
twist on the Sand Kingdom.
Oh, that she's. Yeah.
And it's not only self-delusion, it's propaganda.
Yeah.
I'm fighting through this longer than anyone on Earth. No, hero, you were fighting through this exactly as long as anyone that hasn't died yet. You didn't fall through a wormhole and have been fighting for twice the amount of time as anyone else. Hell, there are people, say like Sally Poe, who don't get the breaks between fights that you do. Sally Poe's a gorilla. She's constantly in the middle of fights, and then when she doesn't have a fight there, she travels to another fight, as we've seen. Hero takes breaks to be a student at school.
Just go to space and come back again and
That's what I'm saying. His comment, I'm
Yes.
fighting through this longer than anyone on Earth. It's like, no, you aren't. What the fuck?
I know you still hanging on to that main character energy, Hero, but yeah, that's a bit too much.
Well, we can't take that away from him. He is the main character.
True. Yeah. But even then, it has its limits. No, Dorothy, that's not Hero. That is Wu Fei. No. Sorry, skip one. You're about to embark on a mission of death and destruction. Would you like a code name like Gandhi or MLK, perhaps?
I'm more confused about this note you almost started. Because Wu Fei is in neither of these episodes.
I'll explain when I get to that.
I mean, yeah, you have to, but now it's like, what the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah.
Because that was Tro on the screen, I think. Or in Duo later. It's like, what are we? I'm sorry, I'm engaging in a thing you're not even talking about.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like the little flashback that Hero has. Like, what's your name? I can imagine everybody waiting. Is he going to say anything? Oh yeah, Hero you.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been better if you just said nothing.
Yeah.
What are you saying? I'm not talking to you ass people. We done.
Fuck you, bitch.
So we had another teleportation. We are just in the Senka Kingdom now. Screw those villagers that had to leave their homes. We cared just enough to put our lives on the line for them, not enough to make sure that they got anywhere or weren't attacked by Romefeller on the way out. Time to go visit Relina with Quatra, who, by the way, seems to have a sudden intimate connection with Pagan. It doesn't suit
Maybe
you to
Pagan.
lie, Pagan. Who the fuck are you? Who's this guy?
What the
I
fuck
know
are
you,
you?
Hero. Have I ever met this guy before?
Ew. Yeah, what the fuck's wrong with you? Oh yeah.
I was kicking a
Oh,
boy's ass 20 years ago, and I'm
remember
going to
that
kick a
Katra
boy's
can
ass in
feel the
5
spirit.
minutes.
You know that Katra can feel the spirit of outer space. So clearly he has some ability to tell when people are lying to him, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. Right out there. Oh, to the 9 that you were talking about. No, Dorothy, that is not Hero. That is Wu Fei, who you probably could beat in a fencing match, if I'm being honest. Because Dorothy says, "Oh, to Hero. Oh,
Oh, you don't
I
like
know
weak
that you."
women. Yeah, no, so I thought
Women's
that
like, no,
too.
that's not Hero. It's like we
No, I
don't
mean,
didn't
it might
said
be an
that.
element of Hero. The element that Hero had to prove that Relina was worth his time. You know, like he stabs the shield of the Wing Zero across the top of her head,
Yeah,
and he's like, I can't kill her. Somebody will stand up to him. I think that's the implication.
yeah, but that weak
Also,
women line
remember, he
is
doesn't kill women or people with weak hearts or something like that.
yeah, that's Wu Fei.
Yeah,
He says
that's not weak women. I think you're conflating the two things he says and putting them together: weak-hearted people and women. So
Yeah.
weak, get rid of the hearts. Women.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the line that I noticed the girls at the school saying, because that's how long it took me in my notes to get to that part. Some boys for a change. Yeah, the Sank Kingdom is all women, huh? It's like 99% pampered teenage girls and 1% bad boy pilots and a 90-year-old man.
Yeah. I mean, knowing it's not pampered, so that's true. But
I said 99%. You can include her into the 1%. Like, that's not even good math, by the way. It's like 99.9% something pampered teenage girls. But yeah, it's like it's an entire nation of teenage girls and a 90-year-old man when the
we don't see
pilots are
anybody
here.
else because we don't see any. Oh no, they were the ministers. So, no, but those ministers were from other
Can you
countries.
imagine? So... Yeah, no, those were from a different country. Can you imagine the variance on age? What's the average age of the Sand Kingdom? Well, it would be all like 16 to 18, except for this 90-year-old guy who's throwing the skew.
Yeah, packing heat for some reason.
Someone's gotta. I got more notes about that. Like, sorry, all of my notes are like 1 to 2 sentences, and we're fastly approaching my like 5-paragraph note.
Yeah, same here. I gotta say, the Romefeller Foundation was very polite in asking about having a battle in the Sand Kingdom. They didn't have to, but it's a thought that counts.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of shit that doesn't make sense, and I think that'd be one of them. If they were trying to trick everything into happening, I think they would just do it. The same way that the guy is very dismissive when Relina calls him. Why would they introduce this diplomatic aspect when it's all supposed to be show? It's performative battle.
Yeah.
Up until the let's do as much damage to the city as possible, it's performative. I don't know what must have happened in that fencing match. They clearly show that their fencing sabers are blunted on the end. I'm not debating how it broke skin, as that can happen, or even how it punctured Dorothy's face guard, as it has the force of Hero's thrust behind it. What gets me is that Hero disarmed Dorothy, knocking her saber into the air, and somehow it punctured the floor. With no force besides gravity behind it, and a blunted tip, it really should have just bounced or bent and fallen. That it punctured the floor makes me have serious doubts as to what this building is made of.
Or those practicing blades.
No, again, the fact that it's blunted, it's not an element of what they're made of, it's the element of the force behind it. Again, I'm not doubting they can break skin even with a blunted tip. And again, breaking through the face mask is more an effort of Terminator Hero going all the way through.
Although it's
way more the
face
element
mask
that
works,
it gets disarmed from her, flies into the air, which means it's now an element of gravity pulling it down.
Yeah.
The blunted tip should not pierce that because it does not have the force of the fall behind it, which means that these floors are made of something extremely weak, which means that then later when we see the buildings get attacked, maybe, it doesn't happen, but later we have to assume the Sand Kingdom will eventually get attacked. The buildings falling apart? Well, yeah, this is probably the place where the contractor comes over and says, oh yeah, this is all water damage, starts poking holes in your walls.
Yeah. Right out of chalk and Tuffy.
Well, you're living in a place where a dude is throwing a pencil at the wall and it'll go right through.
Yeah. Talking about going through, like, the one thing is that when he punches through the face mask, the actual face masks are made out of wire, so that they, even if you punch through, you don't actually break. But the way it shows like it was glass, was like, no, you don't want anything that can shatter.
It's like a plastic or something. I'm not questioning the face mask itself. I recognize it's not a normal thing, but we've already shown it back when Relina's previous school, that this is just what fencing material is in this timeline.
Yeah,
because remember that other boy at the other school had the same thing.
Very dumb. Anyway, my next point. Following, I mean, we are literally told, because it's how Wing does things, that this was a Romo-Federal plan to attack into the Sand Kingdom. So I give him some props for orchestrating an invasion with at least a modicum of plausible deniability. We're just pursuing these people into your territory, but if they get out, we'll, or surrender, that's fine, right? We didn't want to attack your kingdom, but of course, we're also the ones who pushed them into that position. So conveniently, we're going to have to attack your kingdom, right?
Well, I mean, they're not proposing the element that they've chased, that they pushed them here. They're proposing that they retreated here without saying that. And the Trey's faction guys they say it to themselves. They don't say it to, we've been pushed here. They're tracking us. They've tricked us. They only say it to their own guys.
Yeah, but
I also don't believe there's any element of plausible deniability, because there's nothing to deny.
Well, they're denying outright invasion. That's what they're denying. Instead of
because that's not something you would deny. That's not what they're doing. Their point isn't to invade. Their point is that we're going to inflict damage upon the Sand Kingdom through this method.
Intimidate them into.
So, as per the guy on the plane, when he says, let's do as much damage as possible to this city, he's proving to the world that the Sand Kingdom's ideology is bullshit because of what happened. It's not a total invasion. Again, that's not something that they would deny, because they can't deny it. They're not doing it. All right. My two problems with episode 31 are: 1, Relina is being unrealistic with her expectations. She expects to be able to maintain all of her ideals without having to give up on anything. Romo-Feller plays underhanded, has gone out of its way to take over countries with their mobile doll systems, and essentially were the backers of both Oz and the United Earthsphere Alliance. The last group being the one that took the Sand Kingdom the first time around. Yet, she thinks she can diplomacy her way around this. Romo-Feller pushed the Trace faction forces into the kingdom as an excuse to enter themselves. Noin knew that when she tried to get them out. The Trace guys understood it from the start as well. Yet, with no military forces and a pacifist mentality, Relina thinks she can protect these injured men from a military force that has literally no reason to stop. They control most nations of the world at this point, so even a diplomatic threat means little. What could they really do? Economic sanctions? What does this country full of teenage girls even produce? There is no weight behind anything she does. Yeah, babies, that's what they produce. Sorry. I mean, she demands to go out to stop the fighting and tells Pagan, sorry, I messed that up. She demands to go out to stop the fighting, and Pagan tells her that they will just kill her and cover it up. And she rushes out there anyways. She is delusional. And I know there's going to be a lot, but 2, the Trace faction guys don't represent the people of Oz. The Trace faction is made up of former Oz soldiers. We've seen what Oz does the entire show now. Having these guys suddenly turn good doesn't make any sense. They follow Trace, not because he's a good guy with good ideals, but because of his force of personality. Treize wanted Oz to be seen as the bad guys and to be hated when Oz originally took over from the United Earthsphere Alliance. So conceivably, these men were also doing the horrible stuff he commanded. Somewhere along the way, that got transmuted into them being the good guys instead of Treize fanatics, and that makes no sense. Essentially, what I'm saying is the Treize faction is weaponizing your feelings under the good guy Nazi trope. If you are unfamiliar, you have things like Jean Rob, who was a Nazi who saved over 200,000 Chinese people from from Japanese atrocities during the Nanjing Massacre, or in fiction, Captain Kleinsendorf, played by Sam Rockwell in Jojo Rabbit. You can't forget what these people are about, support, or have done just because they suddenly seem to have morality in the moment.
I mean, that last bit is what I call, and that's something I hate in fiction, characterization to fit the plot, right? Like we even had Earth Alliance officers like, oh no, we got to save that kid because it's important, blah, blah. And that could be excused that it's advantageous to them, but still, it's like, oh, we were the bad guys 5 seconds ago, but now that we're selected another faction to be the bad guys, I guess we have to be the good guys. The only excuse might be, oh, by the way, these guys believe in Oz and are the good German, right?
I didn't say good
Effect.
German. They were civilians. They did. I mean, to be fair, if
Yeah.
you've watched the Nuremberg trials and everything, there's that whole breakdown of what citizens were doing during that time and what they were and
Yeah.
were not supporting as a matter of just following with the government. Silence as acceptance. I would say this is not more of, but because I'm following my own good guy Nazi trope is what they're doing. But the way to do it should have been the alliance of convenience thing. We're still those same guys who did all that horrible shit. We just also have the same enemy you do. So, in this moment, it behooves us and you to support one another, even though we're still those same horrible people. We're not asking you to forget. We're not actually trying to whitewash our crimes. What we're doing is saying, we're bad. We both agree that those guys are worse.
Yeah, but that's again another problem I have with Wing is that what I would call pseudo philosophical, and that happens also in a lot of Japanese anime now here as well, where it's like, oh, it's not that this is character or faction motivated by power, right? What makes sense, or survival, right? We're switching sides because either want to survive or we're gaining an advantage. No, it's because we have this philosophy of existence, like which may be a philosophy of power, but they put it in that way, right? Especially highly the leader is the one who says, oh, I believe in the world like this, blah 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 blah. And you're like, it's much simpler if you just say you want to live because they got betrayed or you saw an opportunity, right? And Wing has that where you have Treize going like, oh no, because people have to survive, but it's regrettable they're gonna die, but it's the force of humanity. Yeah. Yeah. Humanity, you always be in conflict. I'm like, nice speech, bro. But you still want to take over anyway. I know it, you want to be the leader of everything. So let's not kid ourselves. That's your ultimate goal, right? So yeah. If we were something like that, like, listen, we're fighting these guys, they're coming in. They could even ask for, humanitarian assistance, which is kind of what they're hinting at. Yeah, we have wounded, the
Again,
rules of war,
I'm
whatever.
not
Yeah.
nitpicking the specific details of what's going on here. I'm just saying how the overall picture doesn't make sense. Why people following Relina, her ideology is delusional, and it doesn't make any sense for them. I know what she's doing should happen in another country that does something, right? This should happen in one of those countries that is trying to defend themselves from Roma filler,
Yeah.
and she's trying to change things from within, so that way she can. What she's doing with her school, for example, should just be a school. It shouldn't be a country where she's trying to spread the ideals of pacifism to the next generation of leaders, which is those pampered rich people from every other country. That's what she should be doing. And then we don't have to do this stupid thing of, oh, yeah, we got a secret defense force that we're building up in our pacifist nation. so that they could just be members of the actual military of that nation that is standing up to Romefeller.
And also, I think this is kind of philosophy that works after the war's over. Like you can say, listen, the reason why we're trying total pacifism is look at all the destruction and death that happened with your warmongering, right? At the end of the day, a lot of people died. You achieved nothing other than killing each other. Maybe try this different approach,
Well,
right?
just take the Sand Kingdom and put it into Gundam Seed, right? Gundam Seed, whose ideal is to try and find a solution to the how do we get out of the cycle of hate problem, and then put the Sand Kingdom in there. No, I'm not saying this is a good thing. I'm just saying that do it. You know what's going to happen to them, right? They're going to get fucking nuked because
what happened to Orb? They got
no.
Orb,
I'm saying that Orb defended itself. Sand Kingdom has nothing and wants to do nothing. That's what I'm saying. It's delusional thinking. Relina is going to get fucking nuked into oblivion because she's going to take some. I can't remember what they were called anymore. The next generation of humanity. Not the people from the movie, but just the people from the. No, but I said Seed.
Seed. Coordinators.
Coordinators. She's going to take in some coordinators that I'm saying Blue Cosmos is. Yeah, the Blue Cosmos is trying to get rid of, and much like the same way they approached Orb, for Orb also accepting these people, Orb again had a defense force. They weren't stupidly pacifist for no good reason. The Sand Kingdom would take these people in and get fucking nuked.
Yeah.
Because they don't have anything to stop the nukes from coming.
I have a note about all this.
Again, I'm saying this is my note essentially about the entirety of episode 31, because it was just two main problems that the entire episode focuses on and is a word we don't say anymore.
I'll just go into my next note because it kind of continues this. Romefeller played right into the vulnerability of pacifism. As I said many times before, it is fine, even heroic, to sacrifice oneself for one's ideals, especially in the name of peace. But what about those who neither can choose to make that sacrifice or have no way of protecting themselves? Like the entire kingdom that you're supposed to be a leader of. All those civilians shouldn't suffer because you decide to be pacifist.
I think this came up a lot when we were watching, not to keep bringing up Seed, but I remember having very specific arguments. I mean, maybe not with you, but under the idea of the show that sometimes what Kigali does is wrong. Or I guess this was coming under the precept of, oh God, what was the guy's name that you hated so much in Destiny? What's his name? Like blue-haired guy? Her fiance. At the beginning.
Not Durandal. That's in Destiny.
I said blue-haired guy. I said Destiny.
Yeah. Well, everybody hated him. Lord, what's his name?
Think you're thinking of the wrong guy.
Yeah, the guy with a cat.
You're talking about the wrong guy.
Oh.
He was never Kigali's fiance.
Oh, yeah, that moron. Yeah, I remember who you're talking about.
You remember we're talking
father
about
and son.
You were talking about the meetings and everything like that, and their whole point essentially is we have to do what's best for the nation, and Kigali's standing up for doing what's morally right to the world and everything like that. And I was arguing back then, and I still hold this to be true, even though they were in the negative, as it turns out in the long run. That should be her perspective, is that as the nation's leader, she has to hold her people's well-being above that of the moral good of the world. Her first duty is to protect her people, and Relina is entirely incapable of doing that one thing. Worse than that, though, from her perspective of propagating pacifism across the world, she's advertising her inability to defend her own people. Yeah. And this is a world at war. So, it's like reverse propaganda. Hey guys, you shouldn't attack people, and we won't do anything about it.
Those filthy neutrals.
Tell my wife I said hello.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess technically that was your note in response to my note continuing the conversation. So, if you had an enemy that would only defend themselves, which is, what they're proposing there at the end of the episode, like we've got a secret defense force, but never attack, you'd be free to do whatever you wanted to them, as they'd progressively just get weaker, as you would remain unhindered by any losses yourself. until eventually I imagine that they would have to try and attack you to prevent future strikes, in which case they would eventually completely lose that pacifist identity, becoming just the same as everyone else. The gears of the world turn and make everyone the same.
I mean, that's why you gotta have some rules of law of war and some
We're not talking about
hard
rules of
lines that you can.
war though. We're talking about the element that if they're pacifist,
Yeah, they
and
can't.
at the point of the last episode we had with number
Well, it depends
31
how
is
effective
the
their
element
defense
that
is.
Noin and Hero have a defense. Well, it doesn't matter how good it is. If you just keep constantly getting attacked and you have no way to prevent them from attacking you because you never weaken their position, then they can constantly just keep trying more and more stuff. Okay, you have these mobile suits. What if we do a biological weapons attack? You're never going to do anything to us, and you have no political will to affect us on the world stage because essentially we are the rest of the world. Then
No, this
we
is
can just keep doing whatever and just keep poking for weak spots until we find one. You're never going to stop us. You're never going to slow us down because you're never going to do anything to us. All you do is protect yourselves, and you can only protect yourselves to such a degree. What if we start attacking your crops, starve you out? What if we start infecting people and putting them into your country? Because you keep taking refugees. What about we can keep hurting you forever if you never do anything to us, and eventually you're going to be weakened by it to the point where you get so desperate you have to do something about it. In which case, we've turned you into us.
I mean, the best defense is a good offense, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's not pacifism. Again, we're going to make you lose your identity because your identity is delusional.
On to my next note then. And this is about the mobile dolls and the fight that they have with them. I see that the mobile dolls are either strong as or weak as the plot demands. At one moment, they have undefeatable shields and perfect accuracy. The next, the shields fail easily, and they switch to stormtrooper accuracy.
Well, that's because the Zero system is supposed to be as good as them. So, being
No, but I'm still
as
talking
good
about
as
this
them,
episode when they have the fight with Annoying and what's the name? Hero in the Sand Kingdom.
I don't care. We've already talked about this before. I think more specifically, more recently, rather, when it came to the way past their shields, rather, is apparently tiny little lasers. Their shields can protect against normal blasts, but tiny little lasers. It gets right through them. I remember the first time I touched that idea was back during Stargate, when Stargate was originally on the air. Goa'uld shields don't protect against throwing rocks. They always anticipate to be in a high velocity fight with guns and energy weapons. Bows and arrows, though, right through them.
Yeah, the slow blade.
Oh yeah, I guess Dune technically. Dune technically would have been the first one, but I don't really remember that one that much. Because I watched the 4.5 to 5 hour cut with commercials on TV, which turned it into a 6 hour long movie that I keep telling people I only watched once. I have no desire to watch Dune twice because I
watch Dune all the time. Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about the 6 hour essential cut
with the animation intro and everything. Yes, and
yes, I'm saying with 6 hours, I'm done. I watched it. I did my work. I haven't watched any version of Dune since. I got my 6 hours in. I'm done.
I read the books. Not all of them. I have 3 books left before, the original.
I think I only looked at the cover of one at Barnes & Noble, and that was the cover that had Atreides' face on the sandworm body.
Yeah, that's book 3, I think.
Yeah, like I said, I'm done. I do not need any more Dune in my life. It's fun. I'm on the next episode now. So I only got 4 notes for that episode. It's funny the show goes out of its way to express Duo's intelligence of using the colony's economy and needs to get supplies, where every other pilot just magics them out of thin air. And instead of leaning into it, the show decides to immediately get rid of it to show that the colonists' goodwill towards a Gundam pilot makes it all unnecessary. Because Duo even mentions, he didn't even stop to take my payment. Yeah, it's dude's just willing to give you the stuff you need to do your thing. Even though you came with because you'll see him flying in with all of these wrecked, I'm about to call them Zaku's, Leos. All these wrecked Leos, and he's apparently giving them to the guy, and the guy's like, I don't need your payment, just take whichever will. Okay. Would have been nice,
Yes.
but I guess not.
Well, I'm on the last note of episode 31 still. At least Radina is self-aware enough to question her own position. Like she's like, "Oh, am I delusional, hero?" And she's like, "Hmm,
It's a shame that everyone else around her will reconfirm her delusion instead of,
yeah,
they'll do the right thing themselves. We need a defense force, but they're like, but you keep doing what you're doing. There's probably some
and
merit to that. Yeah, I mean, we hypnotize we bring, what's his name, from Naruto over, so he'll turn the moon into a mass hypnosis device and we'll hypnotize everyone into being pacifists.
yeah."
Spoilers for Naruto, I guess, maybe. So despite execution orders being given for the Gundam pilots, Duo's location was just known. Trant had a readout on him, then the next scene, he's just there where Duo is. That's pretty dumb. We've got to kill
He just
these
shows
Gundam
up.
pilots. Well, I've got his home address here. No. That's not how we operate here. And Trant's like, well, fuck that. I need a Gundam pilot. I'm going to go find the one I have the address for.
Yeah, which here's my take, and you already disagree with this, but I'm going to repeat it. So, uh, the heels are alive with. Wait. I already made that joke. In fact, we already talked about how the Seer system messes up with the mind of the pilots. So why are we doing this again? And you explained earlier on that. Well, this gives you more information about what's going on, and more specifics is how kind of
Well, I
becomes a
mean, the why
predictive
are we doing
system.
this element is also I have a
Yeah.
note, um, my last note, so I'm not getting there just yet. It's all pointless. The why are we doing this kind of follows over onto the it was all pointless in the end anyway, which I'll get into when I get there. But I got one more. I mean, one more after this one. I got one more to go to before we get there. Trant set up Wing Zero to be disabled or controlled from outside his cockpit in case something went wrong with Duo. After the test and everything, it's not mentioned as having been turned off or disabled. How much do you want to bet it never gets mentioned again? That Wing Zero just has this external cutoff that never gets used.
And if he told Duo about it, Duo didn't try to exploit it either.
Well, I would assume that Trant is the one that had the
That's it.
control over it in the moment.
I guess in his suit or something, I guess.
Well, it's just more so the element that if it's a thing that exists, somebody else later could do something with it. But in the moment, Duo is just, the same way that I keep sometimes saying that, oh, maybe these things should have cutoff devices or something. And you're like, well, that's just something somebody could hack down the road. The same kind of element to what I was talking about. If you only defend yourself, people can just keep trying to poke your defenses until they find a way in. This is an element that this thing has an existing communications thing that will take a shut-off command. All somebody has to do is find out that Trant did that and just keep hitting it with commands until they can figure out what it is.
Yeah, I was
going to say the hack from the end of War Games when Joshua is just putting codes into the computer trying to find the nuclear launch codes.
or what's the other one?
The other one, I'm sure there's a ton.
No, but so Star Trek 2, something
The Wrath of
Kang,
Khan, where he's
the Wrath of Khan. The shield.
I'm saying it's not the same because he hijacks another Federation ship, and that Federation ship for some reason has the codes of another Federation ship. Because that's just bad planning.
No, because the Enterprise.
The Enterprise
has the codes to prevent other people from doing what they're about to do.
Well, no,
right?
You're right. Sorry, I got it backwards. He doesn't have their codes; they have his codes. But at the same time, that's still bad planning. What if the Enterprise had been the one to shown up at the research facility? He took over that ship, and now he just has codes for other random ships that might show up. Sulu's ship, or it's not Sulu. He has a different captain. I can't remember that guy's name. The one that Sulu's on. Yeah, that is the same ship.
It's a Reliance. It's the same ship. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I just couldn't remember the captain's name. Yeah, no, yeah. I was going through a whole thing in my head. It's like, oh wait, Sulu shows up at the Ceti Alpha 5. Technically, it's Ceti Alpha 5 now. It used to be Ceti Alpha 6. No, it's Ceti Alpha 6 that got into, whatever fucking happened with the planets. Anyway, he shows up at that planet, and then he takes over from there, and then he goes to the station, which was where my confusion was lying for a half a second before you corrected me at the same time that I figured it out in my own head that I was right to begin with. My point being, if the Enterprise shows up at the station, and then he goes to that station and just has the code for the Reliance shields as has. Like, that'd be fucking stupid. It doesn't have any security bases. You don't store all your codes on every device possible.
Well, to my last note, which is pretty short. It's a question, really. Episode 32, God of Death meets
I would answer no
Zero.
preemptively, just in case it fits.
Probably. So, did the Zero system kill Trent? Trent.
It's only funny to me because my favorite character from Iron Blooded Orphans is named Crank, which is only one letter off.
Yeah.
By the way, a character that only lives for 2 episodes, but whatever. Did the Zero system kill Trant? No. Duo killed Trant.
Oh, really? He just goes back and saying,
No, Duo stabbed him through the cockpit with the death sight. I mean, the death sight's the name of the name of the mobile suit, but it's also, I have to imagine, the name of the actual damn scythe. Yeah, he stabs him through the cockpit with a death scythe. I think Trant would have been in a hallucination mode, which is weird, by the way, because the hallucination mode seems to also control your actions, as we've seen people come out of the hallucination mode having done a thing, but it also seems to be the thing that he was in when he died, so he was distracted. No, I understand what you're saying, but the Zero mode doesn't give you like a heart attack or anything.
Yeah, no, but I guess I missed
This is the show where we've seen people have heart attacks. So
yeah, because I don't think I saw it was flashing lights and he goes and
well, I might be wrong about the methods. Like, I'm also now remembering in my head someone stabbing him with just a normal ass beam saber too. But he does get stabbed through the cockpit. That is what kills him. So I might be wrong about what specific beam weapon thing goes through him, but that he does get beam weapon through. That is the killing device.
And his helmet explodes, and then he just...
So as it turns out, the answer was no.
Yeah.
My final one. I guess all of Trant's recordings and data analysis comes to nothing. All the scenes of him talking to himself about his findings and showing us all the fighting, all for us, the viewer, exposition for exposition's sake. Once Trant died, that shit went nowhere. Not that Tuberov would have wanted it anyways.
He's in love with his dolls.
Yep. Just like Lord Helmet.
No, I didn't see you play with the dolls, Lord Helmet.
Again.
Good.
I didn't see you playing with your dolls
again. Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
Good.
Mostly that was Rick Moranis. Rick Moranis improvised the whole thing. Where he got the dolls from, I don't know.
Well, I imagine they were made for the merchandising.
Yeah. Baseball flamethrower.
Well, we had again, they better name it to search for more money, but they have Spaceballs 2 coming out at some point. Preferably before 2 of the characters we want to see are dead. I can't remember Lone Star's actor's name. He's not the one I'm talking about, though. He just seems like the one that was young enough to... Or the one who doesn't look exceptionally old now.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about, yeah. He played the president in the ID4, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. I couldn't remember. And, well, technically, he played the ex-president in ID4 too.
Yeah.
Which I didn't see, because I don't care to.
No, I didn't.
I've seen enough clips of it online, though, like YouTube Shorts and everything.
They went so far where it's like, oh, yeah, no, we defeated them. How can we make them more menacing? Oh, yeah, they have weapons that can make the earth ripple and shit.
I had no problem with that. I appreciate, again, elements I've picked up through osmosis. There's this little ball thing, which comes from a previous race that wants to help us out. Like, I like the external world building, but it's just the element, I guess, maybe that they've just built on the same world building. You know how the big ship had a bunch of smaller ships come out of it? What if that big ship was just part of another bigger ship that has bigger ships come out of it? Remember how there was that one guy behind the console was like the fuck you moment where they're smoking their cigars? What if there was a bigger one of those? I imagine if there's an Independence Day 3, which I don't imagine there would be, considering how much money that movie probably made, it would just be that they would just destroy the Earth next time, and then it would be a bigger ship that launches these bigger ships. It's like, weren't these guys like space scavengers who are like harvesting planets. Like, how do they make these giant invasion fleet ships?
And also, you would think that if they did that and they all got wiped out, and I was like, yeah, let's not go there. There's plenty of planets around.
Well, yeah, no, that's the point I was about to say. Why don't you think they would just scrape the other planets that have no life on them? Yeah. Mars has basically all the resources we do, and like nothing there to stop you. You know, every moon on the way. It's not good. This isn't the normal
entire solar systems that you could go like.
Yeah, this isn't the normal thing of we have water. In which case, wouldn't they be harvesting the comets or Europa or you know?
The one thing I will say about if any aliens come into your solar system and harvest your resources and they can leave is like, technically speaking, whoever inhabited the planet go like, wait a minute, those are resources too, and they may go out and try to fight them. But originally they couldn't. Like the original Earthers had like space shuttles, that's all they had, so they couldn't go out and intercept the aliens. But now they have entire fleets in the moon and stuff like that.
Well, so they don't have fleets; they have like fighter craft. Yeah, they have fighter craft, which essentially don't go much further than the space shuttle because they fly at still relativistic speeds. I mean, this is the same thing that happens in like the first season of Stargate. The Goa'uld are coming here, and he's like, well, what does Earth have to defend itself? Well, I guess we got the shuttle. Is the shuttle a feared fighting craft? No. You know, this the conversations between MacGyver and Goa'uld guy. At least we got the shuttle. Like, you know, I think nukes. We're pretty much screwed. Well, no, remember, because they try the nukes. Well, I don't know if you remember, but it doesn't get through the shields.
Yeah.
And then they eventually come up with the fact that if you use the Stargate material on a nuke, it really upgrades the nuke.
Not quite, yeah.
And then later, the other version of it as well, when, what's his name from... God, sorry, I've talked about it a number of times. First Wave, did you ever watch First Wave?
No.
It was an early Sci-Fi Channel show, somewhere between the time Sci-Fi Channel was a paid-for channel and when it went free, which is about... a guy who was a locksmith being framed for murder by aliens because the aliens come here in like husk bodies, but it's not their bodies. They like beam their intelligence into these husk bodies. Like salt is like meth for them. Their bodies dissolve if you kill them, but essentially they frame him for murder as like a test. And he goes on the run to try and prove his innocence. I didn't kill my wife. And he gets in touch with a crazy guy who lives out in the woods, in like a camper van, who like wants to stay off the grid, who is following the invasion of Earth through the quatrains of Nostradamus, and it turns out to like be fucking true. So they have these like vague hints of what the aliens are up to, because you know Nostradamus' quatrains are just fucking vague. And they're like, what's the next thing that's gonna happen? And he just like wander into it most of the time. It's a very good show, but it's very early Sci-Fi Channel shit. Anyway, the guy who was the main character of that is like the alien scientist guy who joins in Stargate like late into one of its later seasons, who comes up with like a more enhanced version of Naquadah.
Wandria. Yeah.
That in Heavy Water 3 or whatever the fuck they do.
Anyway, those were my notes. Close everything so I don't get robo-bugs.
All right, well, nothing left to do but to hop on in and see where we continue to go on our next to worst show that we're reacting to.
A Lonely Battlefield.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, some good sci-fi classics out there. I've been trying to think of a way to get Ray over at Our Nights to watch Barefoot Gen. You're familiar with that one, right?
No.
Based on the author's actual experiences during World War II. It's horrific and tragic, but I think it's lesser known than, say, Grave of the Fireflies. Just about like how his mother was dying. His dad was anti-war, or I guess anti the Emperor's message about war. from the beginning, which ostracized his family, and then the nuke fucking drops and how horrible it is. He can't find any food. Dad died in the nuke. Mother's dying of radiation sickness. Having to deal with the Americans that are in the area. And they're the only source of medicine and everything like that. And God, they mostly want to observe stuff for medical research and whatnot, like the effects of the bomb on people.
Yeah.
And, just generally the struggle to even find work in all the other kids who have been, like, mangled by the bomb. It is horrific. That's been your conversation for the opening.
Yeah. Back here again.
Well, I guess we're going to find out how he died.
Yeah, it looks like the system killed him.
I remember it was something after that. Also, that wouldn't be the system that killed him. That would be the aftershock of the explosion that happened in front of him, blowing his face mask off. Why would the system blow his face mask open? Also, wouldn't the cockpit be pressurized?
Yeah.
That wouldn't kill him immediately. I remember him getting stabbed.
Oh, that's cut.
What, you thought it was Pagan?
Yeah, I thought for a second
The
I thought it was
outfit?
Pagan. Yeah.
Damn it, I thought it was going to be one of those teenage girls.
That's a big blackboard. Or screen. 3
No, it's
million
probably a
by 5
blackboard. It
million.
probably
Yeah.
literally is a blackboard.
Yeah.
Also money. Lots of money.
And they make a note that how Relina got them to stay was to promise to find Troa for them.
No, I mean, even with that, Hiro said he wouldn't be staying for very long.
Do they?
Well, of course they do. They had tons of
Oh,
mobile dolls.
Oz. Because I'm still thinking that the Trace faction is not Oz, technically.
Even though it's made up of members of Oz.
Yeah.
Really damning for every engineer in the world. Every engineer in the world can't, like, reverse engineer the Gundams or figure out how these 5 scientists did what they did.
You could destroy their production facilities. That would help.
They did that already.
No, they're still on the moon. They're fighting the...
No, yeah, but I mean, they did that on Earth. That was what they were doing before Oz
Yeah.
took over from the United Earthsphere Alliance.
宇宙で大量生産されたモビルドールを地球上の紛争地域へと降下させるオペレーションノバは着々とその成果を上げていた。モビルドールの脅威を世界中の人間が目の当たりにし、オズの権力は拡大している。それはロームフェラ財団の支配体制が確立することを意味していた。
I mean, yeah. Literally costs you no manpower to invade every country.
高熱源反応です。モビルスーツ急速接近。出たか。トールギスです。間違いありません。
Oh,
It's a Zax episode.
Yeah, I didn't know he could do that. That reminds me of Babylon 5. Oh, your ships are impressive in the air and space. But right now, they're underground.
Oh yeah, Londo to can't
Mr.
remember
Morton.
his name. Yeah, Morton. With his face half burned from the... No, sorry, that was... His face is burned. No, that's, yeah, from the Zahadum
Yeah,
attack.
he's recovering. No, he's fully recovered from the...
Well, when he first
At
sees
that
him,
time.
he's there in like a giant
Yeah.
cloak and everything. Face...
Apparently he can. Oh, now we're doing the thing where we leave our sabers behind.
Oh, is that what I thought you say we're doing that thing where the show is kind of bad. We start talking about other sci-fi
That too.
as we
Yeah.
did with Zeta.
こちらピースミリオン作戦完了トールギスを収容次第この区域を離脱する
What do we name it? Well, my name is Peacecraft, and a million's a large number. So,
あなたには感謝していますハワード何わしらは持ちつ持たれつ遠慮などいらん
Oh yeah, the one scientist that never got captured. Or he's not even a scientist. He's
no,
an
he's
engineer,
just a
right?
mechanic.
被害は受けておる
Yeah.
んじゃろ
With a cloaked chip, right?
I don't know if it's cloaked or just in a shadow.
速度が速すぎるんじゃこんな短期間でトールギスの機動性を超える力を身につけるとは思わんかったな収容するぞすまないリリーナ
Yeah, so while all the other Gundam pilots are fucking around, Zex is just getting
Zex.
stronger and stronger.
At least he's doing better
No
than
explanation,
you know,
though, where the
Char.
Peace Million comes from. They just
No.
suddenly have it. Like everything else that happens in the show.
そのまま潜伏していたようです
サンクキングダムか厄介だな
デルマヨ公爵
あの国の全国王が唱えた完全平和主義は未だに
But we killed those people off. Those fucking
さらに
idiots.
まずいのは財団の中にもその考えが広まり始めていることだ
Legitimately, I don't know how you fret over people supporting total fascism. What are they gonna do to you? Nothing.
無敵だとテクスマーキスにしてやられているではないか
それは
次の降下地点はルクセンブルク基地だな
は準備は完了しております今度はゼクスの好きにはさせません
Yeah, we went to the Luxembourg base before, right? That was early on in the
No.
series.
That wasn't the Luxembourg base. That was, God, it starts with a V.
Ventia?
サンクキングダムかこの機会に始末してしまうべきかもしれん
The Luxembourg base is not Noin's Ares training base. I think that's what you're talking about.
リリーナ
It's something Lake base.
好きにしろここ
Oh,
は
it was in Africa. Yeah, it wasn't in Europe, so never mind.
ヒーロー
That a
どうして
butterfly?
私の国にいてくださるの
Lake Victoria
以
base.
前のあなたな
Maybe
ら
it does, yeah.
私がいくら止めて
So I
も
was even kind of wrong there. I said something Lake. It's Lake something.
宇宙に帰っていたのねでもあなたの故郷はあなたに優しくはなかった辛かったのでしょうそれでもヒーローは戦うことをやめないのですねその厳しさを秘めた瞳は初めて会った時から変わっていないもの
俺は
お話中失礼いたしますリリーナ様
No, you will not be forgiven for interrupting.
何かご用でも
Get the fuck out of here. We're having a talk.
ロームフェラ財団からの招待状です
オズの働きにより間もなく世界の紛争は解決しようとしておりますそこで戦争の終わった後に来るであろう平和についてサンクキングダムの完全平和主義に学びたくリリーナ・ピースクラフト殿にはブレーメンで行われる会合にぜひとも出席していただきたい
How easy it is to lure her out.
情報を送ります
Like I said, the same way she was going to run out into the middle of combat, that was going to kill her.
Yeah.
You just invite her somewhere and she'll show up. Again, you could do it though. You could lure her out to a place and kill her openly. The pacifist countries aren't going to do anything about it. Spoiler alert, we will fail.
Yeah.
ヒーロー約束してちょうだい私に黙っていなくなったりしないと
That too will fail.
When's your next birthday? I'll kill you.
Yeah.
You saying this now? You're really overestimating our relationship.
Or not.
He doesn't marry her until 30 years after the fact in a manga. Which, by the way, I've heard the new stuff that they're putting out for Gundam Wing's manga really depends on you knowing what the fuck happens in Frozen Teardrop. Like, it's fucking insane. Oh. They're actually using those, I forget what they're called.
Unit symbols, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. You didn't watch 86, and probably didn't watch our 86 reaction, but I go in depth on the meaning of the unit symbols because they use them heavily in...
Yeah, battalion brigades.
They use them heavily
artillery.
in 4 different episodes of planning in 86.
Yeah, the battalion brigade company.
Yeah, no, I mean specifically the symbols that represent the specialties of what they do, and like the dot marks that are above each thing that represent the size of the specific
artillery, infantry, armor.
There was very specifically a note because the 86 unit gets reassigned to a larger group for a specific mission and whatnot, and it was worth going over. To disobey the promise that he made to Relina 5...
he didn't say anything.
30 seconds
She said,
ago.
promise me.
He said, promise to tell me before you leave.
And he didn't say anything, so he didn't promise anything. So he couldn't break
He
the promise
nodded
he didn't make.
yes.
I don't think he did.
He
just
did
sort of
nod
said,
yes. He literally nodded yes.
He's like...
No, his head bopped up and down. I heard the rocks.
Oh. Okay. Oh, there has to be a trap. Is it?
Yeah, the OST of the show is one of the 2 things that saves it. The other is the English voice acting. I guess the reason the tall geese work so well is that we know that the doll's shielding is directional.
Yeah.
It's got those 3 things, so you just behind it and then stab backwards and you got them. Because maneuverability is the one thing the tall geese has always had in spades.
And speed.
For the second time, because we've met before.
And I will lock the door behind me.
Nope, no locks on that door. Don't know how she could be. Not a disappointment, I mean.
その一方で、あなた方のオズは世界中に戦争を巻き起こしています。同じロームフェラの力がなぜ核も違った結果を生み出すのでしょう。それは力をどう使うかはその人の心によって決まるからです。あなた方が真に平和を望むのであれば、ぜひ我がサンクキングダムを参考にしていただきたいのです。そのためならば、私にはあらゆる努力をする用意があります。
I will say this, Relina is a perfect model of somebody with nothing trying to sell you nothing.
Yeah.
素晴らしい。お若いのにしっかりした考えをお持ちのようだ。しかしサンクキングダムには矛盾があるようだが。
どこにでしょうか。
説明申し上げよう。最近我々オズの部隊に攻撃を仕掛け、多大な損害を与えている者がいる。
He's not calling himself Miliardo Peacecraft, is he? Still. Okay, he's not doing it while he... Yeah, I guess the element of he revealed the name. You can't take it back. It was your statement from a long time ago. He said everyone would know who he is.
Yeah. Well, she just, well, is she going to disavow him? Or like, well,
Well, it's the element he's not doing it as a peacecraft. He's not saying this is for the Sand Kingdom.
あのパイロットは現在もミリアルドピースクラフトを名乗っているのですか？
いや、それは。
Well, there you go.
ならば彼は我が兄ミリアルドではありません。ピースクラフト家は何を
yeah, she disavowing him.
Well, he disavowed himself of the family too.
True, but that's what she's
Weirdly,
doing.
though,
Right
he
now. It's
did
like,
that
you just-
before he showed up as ambassador of Million Dollar Peacecraft. Famously, one of his most famous quotes is, "My hands are covered in blood."
よろしい。これは我々の思い違いだったようだ。裏切り者ゼクスには我々の手で相応の処置をしよう。サンクキングダムを疑ったことについては謝罪
You
しよ
called
う。
my bluff, and now I'm gonna kill your brother.
失礼させていただきます。
Well, this was on. What did this achieve?
サンクキングダム、やはり厄介だな。
Is it though? You know, you should actually want them to spread their pacifist ideals because that's going to be more people that won't fight you.
I mean, there's nothing as peaceful resistance.
That's not what they're talking about. She doesn't want any fighting. No military equipment. This is why I side with Dorothy so much. I mean, ultimately, she's just about fighting for fighting's sake, but at the end of the day, she's the ally you want. Not them. She's the ally you want if you're reasonable. Oddly, Romefeller is the most reasonable faction here.
Except for, you know, domination, world domination, but sure, you know.
Why not? What are you doing with
Why
your
not?
time when you have all the money in the world?
Leave everyone else alone.
Fuck that.
Fuck you, then.
Fuck you, you're a pacifist. You're not gonna fight back. And even if you are, I've got all the money in the world. And a base on the moon producing the most advanced military suit that literally money can buy. Come on, Ares is always the weakest.
You had the coolest, though.
New? Are they still new? No, Leos are the coolest.
I always like
In
the
a
Ares
mobile
more.
suit competition, and not to like be the best, I mean just like coolest looking of base mobile suit models, Leo is right there with this Zaku in my book.
万一リリーナ様に何かあったら私はゼクスに合わせる顔がないからな。
何隊長、たった今匿名の通信が入りました。リリーナ様のお車がテスト飛行を装ったモビルドール部隊に襲撃されると。
何？
I 100% legitimately do not remember if anything ever happens to Pagan. In my memory, Pagan wasn't in the show for a long time. Sorry, Pagan. I want the show where Pagan
you
jumps out
machine
of
gun style?
I want the show where Pagan jumps out of the car, takes out his fucking revolver, and shoots the Ares out of the air, or whatever they are. If this was Seed, that would have killed her and her family.
Yeah.
Also, technically, these should be weaker models than the mobile dolls.
Apparently not.
Well, because remember, they're the things that the mobile dolls were based on. Just these were colored white.
Maybe they got modified.
No, actually,
I don't remember
no.
them.
They're the ones from the beginning of the show that were weaker than everything else that came after them. Yeah, no, you can't, because no matter what you do, it has to have force behind it. Correct. You cannot. This is where the show should have made a turnaround.
あなたがそんなことでは僕たちはどうすればいいのですか。あなたは自分の信じる道を進むべきです。僕たちのように戦うことしか知らなかった者にでも平和に暮らせる場所をあなたは作ることができる。
And yeah, here you are, still fighting, by the way.
僕たちはそれを信じているんです。平和に。
As a plan for the future after the fighting is done, yes.
No,
But
because as we already talked about before, if even one person wants to fight after that, you're going to wind up in a Demolition Man scenario. For a second there, I thought it was Mobile Dolls fighting Mobile Dolls.
yeah. Ooh.
Okay, this is going to be a real annoying question, because it's going to seem like I wasn't paying attention. When did
Yeah.
Hero get the Zero Suit back?
No, remember there's two of them. This is not the, this is the 01 unit, the original unit. Remember that whole thing that Noin and Poe went to retrieve it? Yeah.
It's very annoying that they look the same.
Yeah. That's Trace.
戦って生き延びるのだ。君は
Sorry, I didn't pay my light bill.
死んではならない。
Bruno Feller stopped funding me. I couldn't pay the electric bill anymore. Yeah, no, like I said, it's real stupid, the pacifist ideology. It's untenable, as she was realizing. I can't save anyone, I'm always being saved. Just, it take force to accomplish what I'm doing. And the answer is yes. Yes, it takes force to accomplish what you're doing. Otherwise, you're going to do that thing I talked about from last episode, where you're going to rush out trying to force your will on people with absolutely no means of force at all, and they will just kill you.
True.
It's the downfall of the entire thing. And again, if you have a defense force and a pacifist, you're still applying force to people. And not for nothing, assuming that your defense force is going to be absolutely good and incorruptible, which isn't a realistic standard to hold anyone to. I mean, it is an ideal standard, but look at the world. Look at the world we live in. You give somebody a little bit of power, and corruption rears its head. Ask
I mean, that's what
Spider-Man's
you should
uncle.
have safeguards against corruption and vigilance against it, right?
Both. No, you need checks and balances, which also can be corrupted.
Yeah, like
As,
anything else.
again, the world.
ゼクスは宇宙でウィングガンダムゼロを手に入れ、オズのトーラス部隊を殲滅する。一方、ルクセンブルクの古城に潜入したヒーローはトレーズから新型のガンダムを託される。だが、それはゼロと同じ魔のモビルスーツであった。
It's evil.
新機動戦機ガンダムウィング第34話、その名はエピオン。
I enjoy that we're applying absolute morality to these things. And it's evil, just like the other one. Well, it's funny because
Well,
it doesn't
it's
have its
supposed to
own.
bring-
It doesn't have its own learning system or anything on it, so it can't
Yeah.
operate on its own. So conceivably, that evil lies in the hearts of men. You know, like the
that's what
Phantom knows.
it. Yeah, it's the brings out the worst in people, right? Which I think is the ultimate message of Wing is like war brings out the worst in people.
Well, I was to say destructive intent brings out the worst in people because that's the methodology. Because you don't fight a war with a single machine, but that single machine does things to people. You know, your entire point is to destroy this other mech or kill your opponent. Then that's destructive intent. So
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not going to argue that destruction is itself inherently evil. You can destroy things for good reasons. You know, clearing land is destruction. Swords to plowshares. But, obviously, in the middle of a fight, that is a negative quality. But even then, we've already gone over the, I think, concede. This is when the original argument came up, the idea that a revolution is violence for the intent of good.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on what the revolution comes from, you know. If it's a right-wing insurgency coming from within, then it's not a good revolution. But
if you're rebelling because you want to keep other people from rebelling,
I mean, well,
and
it's
change the-
come to this discussion before that sometimes the will of the people is not the good will. I'll often I cite the black students that wanted to attend school in Georgia, where the will of the people was to not, and worse, where the National Guard had to be called in against the will of the people.
Paratroopers and all that.
Ironic,
federal
considering
marshals.
the modern age, but
Well, I mean, it's the whole the twin tyrannies, the tyranny of the majority over the minority, but also the tyranny of the minority over the majority, right? Can go both ways, right?
yeah, but you got to be on the right side of history, and I don't want to be heavily political, which is where this is going, but I guess I just have to side that liberalism tends to be more on the right side of history than conservatism.
I mean, in the most simplest way possible,
without
broad attaching
strokes.
Broad strokes. Conservatism wants to maintain the status quo, whatever that status quo may be. While liberalism and progressivism wants to improve things. Which the thing about conservatism is, what makes it attractive is that if you are comfortable in the status quo, then you don't want to change that because you're taking risk, right? And you might not even believe that things could be effectively changed, right? This is what you know, and this is how things are. So without proof that things could get better, why would you attempt it? But of course, if the status quo is, as always is, imperfect, and that means people must suffer to maintain that status quo, then the tendency is to maintain the part of the system that makes other people suffer. Progressivism holds the impetus and the
a rising tide floats all boats.
Yeah, the possibility of improving life for everyone, right? If we're gonna either in small doses or larger doses, right, from evolution to revolution, right, depending on where you're in the scales, that you can have to improve. And some would say, "Oh, the system is so corrupt that we have to bring it all down." But then that kind of loops itself back. It's like, well, if you destroy the system,
well, no, it's when things get so bad and the system's working against you that burning it down is preferable to trying to change it, because the system is against change.
Yeah. And ultimately, one could argue that any system, no matter how well-intentioned it might be at its onset, would corrupt it, and also it ossifies. And that's something I'll be saying about what was the other show that we talked about? The progressive side or more liberal side of Legends of Galactic Heroes, that the military itself in that show on the free world side seems to now exist more to justify itself rather than to defend the people in a way, right? I mean, they still have the intention of defending themselves, but there's an element there I detect of like, yeah, we're still doing this because, well, we have to, right? We have to justify the military onto itself beyond merely this outside threat. So any system that survives long enough will prioritize its own survival rather than whatever initial goals they may already have. Therefore, corruption and, I call it ossification, right? So, yeah.
I mean, I have no real disagreements beyond the show-specific ones, which I don't feel like we should get into here. So we've already segued a number of times into other shows' comments. And my only comments in my head right now are real-world ones, which, again, I would like to avoid beyond the ones that I've already said, which, again, I'm hoping are broad enough generalizations that we can all understand my meaning without getting into deep-heated political ideological debates about. So, despite the fact that certain people in the comments think I'm one way when I don't know. It might be the element that I'm constantly siding with the evil guys in the shows, that somehow I've become that to the viewers of the shows. It's like, not so much. As I often say, these guys aren't real, and the world that they live in isn't real, so my support of them is fictional.
Yeah.
Whereas bad people in the real world, I don't support, because they're real, and their effects harm actual living people. So if I'm like, fuck those guys in a show, none of those people are real. I have no real weight in the matter. Whereas when people in real life get hurt, You know, it's not the
They're
same
instruments
thing.
of the authors. They're instrument of the creators, and whatever message they want to send, if any.
Yeah, I'm just saying that there's a difference between these two things. The same way that I told you before that I had like a multi-paragraph message about not liking the main characters in Iron-Blooded Orphans, and someone read that as I hate all Mexicans, even though, as I said, not one character, I don't think anyway, of anybody in Iron-Blooded Orphans is Hispanic. Like when they go to Earth, they go to Canada, they go to Japan, and they go to Canada, because that's the seat of the, I guess, Earth government is in Canada. But yeah, it's like I don't know how you got there from here, but certainly I'm not like that. That's why it sticks in my head, because it's like I've gotten plenty of you suck from comment section before. You specifically called me out on something that is so batshit insane that had nothing to do with anything I said that it just stuck in my craw, essentially. You know, the craw, famously in this region.
Somewhere around here.
Yeah, I know. I was pointing already before my mind decided to go with craw.
Yeah.
All right, well.
So there we are. Yeah, that was it. That was the episode.
All right. So once again, I have been Theta. This has been Lessons. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?